Hey there, true believers. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Mafex No, it's not SH Figure Arts. It's the upgraded suit from Far From Home. Now, I've been waiting for this guy for a long time. Not only do I have this guy, which I really like. Obviously, these aren't his accessories. He has a shoulder that's messed up. I can't move his shoulder, so he's stuck like this. Then I got this guy already. His leg broke on me. Things just keep fucking up. Anyway, we're gonna put him aside for a second. We're taking a look at his accessories because, that's just what we're gonna do. I haven't gotten these webs yet with any of the figures I've gotten. I don't know if they've come with the Iron Spider figures, but all the ones that I have, he just has, it's just this part. It doesn't have the little, the right angle on the end. So that's pretty cool. It gives some more options. Some of them are warped. All of the ones with the other figure are warped. Then you get these nice flip-in poses, this nice flip-in webs, which we've seen before. And then these shorter ones, very sharp as well. Get the little cell phone here. Would have been kind of cool to see some printing on here, but, it is what it is. Then we get the Steve Ditko style head, along with the more Ramita style. At least how I look at it. Obviously, it's just the same mask with one slightly more squinty, but, I'm going to call this my Ditko head. And also, if you want to see something that works out very well, I got this idea from Wayne_collectors on Instagram. Putting the Far From Home head and neck on the Mafex Homecoming figure works really well. This is his original head. So you can see that original head is a little bit small. Granted, this is a bigger body than this one, but I think this setup right here looks very sharp. So kudos to him for posting that, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have thought of it. Or at least if I did, it would have taken me a while. We get some magnetic wall crawling hands. I've also noticed that the fingers are a little bit thicker on these hands, so they're keeping their shape a lot more. The Mafex Homecoming figure has the fingers start to bend, like he's some of his fingers are kind of in a weird gesture, I've noticed, and these ones seem to be holding their shape a little bit better. You also get the magnetic feet, and these are repelling each other, so that's not going to be very helpful on a metal surface or a magnetic surface. A metal one, it should be fine, but they also changed the gesture for the flipping poses. These ones have the where'd it go? These ones have the pinky going up. Actually, both fingers going up. The other ones had a very straight out pose like this. These ones, they get that pinky up action. We get some regular wall crawling poses, our hands. Again, these are holding their gesture very well. The fingers look very sharp. Very nice hands. Mask holding hands, which you don't get that accessory with this figure. You get it with the stealth figure, but you can also use this to hold the phone. Web holding hands. And you get some peace signs. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, you get the Mafex stand, which it looks to me that maybe Mafex is bringing this stand back, but they're just for select figures, so like maybe with smaller figures like Spider-Man, it'll work better. Because I really am not a big fan of the current stand, the one that I got with my Batman, my Dark Knight Batman, and the one I got with my Dark Knight Joker, or the Dark Knight Trilogy Joker. I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm glad to see this one return. It doesn't look like, from what I've seen, it doesn't look like this is the one that they're going to stick with. I think they might just be using both, which I think is a better idea. Because in all honesty, this stand probably wouldn't work well with that Joker anyway. But I don't use it for him, so that's why I'm upset about it. But anyway, this figure is pretty sharp. Right off the bat, one thing that could make this a lot more accurate is the white on the spider. SH Figure Arts didn't do it. Hasbro did it, but it's a little bit sloppy. And I put the webs on there myself. I tried 2 different ways of putting the webs on there. That's why it doesn't look uniform, but I'm going to go ahead and redo it. But the sculpt work on this figure looks pretty great. I think the proportions are right on point. If you take a look at what Tom Holland looks like, if you take a look at the set photos from Far From Home when he's standing next to Zendaya, this looks just like Tom Holland. The shoulders are cut up a little bit, but other than that, this looks just like Tom Holland. The thighs are fine. Everything looks pretty good, in my opinion, other than the fact that maybe the torso could be extended, and of course that would help our articulation a little bit. Now, this guy on Instagram, I don't know his name off the top of my head. I always forget his name because I always have a hard time finding him. I messaged him the other day to ask him about his torso fix that he had, and I haven't gotten back from him yet. I don't even know if he looked at the message, but if he's not selling his fix, then I might try to do something to fix it on my own. So we'll see how that works, but let's take a look at this figure. You get that nice texture throughout the figure on the red parts, and then the various textures on the black parts, which looks very cool. Some people say that this is a little bit, it's not as crisp as it could be. I mean, I agree with that. I don't think it looks bad. I think it's just odd because it's the only part of the suit that looks like that. It blends in a lot more with, say, the Hot Toys figure. Or even really this one, but this isn't completely accurate. Like it is. It is accurate, but it's not completely. Like, you can see how some of the textures differ. But the paintwork when it comes to the webbing is pretty good. It's got a nice wash in there. It's not as splotchy as the Homecoming figure. You do get some darker areas on here, which I've come to expect from Mafex, and I actually quite like. You know, I'm gonna stand right here and say that I've always been a big fan of Mafex. I don't understand all of the hate. Well, I do understand it. Mafex is probably my favorite toy company out there. It's been my favorite toy company. They give you a stand with every figure. They give you incredible accessories with every figure. And they're smart. They entice you to buy other figures to get certain accessories for some figures. So, say for instance, the Cop Joker that comes, the Mafex Cop Joker, if you get him, you get the interrogation accessories for your version 2 Joker. It entices you to buy that figure, but if you don't want to buy the figure, then maybe you can get the accessories off eBay or secondhand or something like that. Mafex is very, very smart. They give you reasons to buy their figures, and their figures are always... They put a lot of work in their figures. Of course, you know, obviously just with this figure itself, I've had one that has a defect, but I mean, that comes with figures. Obviously, people don't want to spend $100 on a figure and it breaks immediately out of the package. I understand that. But you gotta... the way I see it is you don't see a lot of other companies taking the risks that Mafex does. I mean, take a look at their third figure. Or is it their fourth figure? They have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Mafex, and then the deluxe version counts as its own figure. Look at how much stuff came with that figure. We don't see that, and that figure was $100 when it came out, and this is $100 right now. Obviously, Mafex has upped their prices, but I've always been a big fan of Mafex, and I think that they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve. And it's about damn time, because the figures that they've been putting out are fantastic. Each figure improves on the previous one. When they re-release a figure such as Batman or the Homecoming figure, it improves the previous one. And not every figure is perfect. Like I said, you get figures that break on you sometimes, and you get quality control issues, but I think for how much work that they're putting into the figures, I think that maybe people shouldn't be as hard on them as they are. That's just my personal opinion. Like, for instance, I can't move the fucking shoulder on this. I haven't been able to move the shoulder since I got this SH Figure Arts figure. Yet you don't see people talking about SH Figure Arts the way they do about Mafex. Mafex has always had this kind of dirt on its name when SH Figure Arts doesn't. Now, I really like SH Figure Arts as well, but take a look at, like, the very first Mafex Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 Spider-Man, compare that figure came out in 2013 or 2014, compare that to the SH Figure Arts Avengers Age of Ultron line. That figure blows those figures out of the water. All of them, except maybe the Iron Man, because their Iron Man figures have always been really good. Take a look at this figure compared to the Marvel Legends. This one doesn't even have webs on the actual suit. This one's not accurate at all, even though I love this figure, don't get me wrong. Mafex does everything. Okay, alright. I'm being a little bit extra right now. I think that they produce really good figures, and I just don't like the fact that I don't think they get as much recognition as they deserve. And there's a lot of people that shit on them, and some of it is deserved, I will say that, but I think that they put a lot of work into the figures that are somewhat overlooked. That's just my personal opinion. I've always been a big fan of Mafex, and I think they do great work, and I haven't had a problem with any of their figures other than this one. Even my Amazing Spider-Man 2 Mafex figure, that coming right out of the box, and even now, it still hasn't really loosened up on me. It still holds its poses really well. I did a modification to it, which makes it's a lot stronger, but he still can hold his poses. Anyway, you know, we're done with that. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this figure is pretty spanking, so let's take a look at its articulation. We get the head and neck combo, which will allow you to look up this far, down this far. The head pivot action. Look at all that attitude. Damn near break his neck. Get the head swivel. Butterfly joint, it's all a ball joint in there. You get all kinds of range of movement. The shoulders move up this far, and then along with that butterfly joint, you can, whoa, get that out of the way. Along with that butterfly joint, and get his hands above his head, which is pretty cool. Full rotation, butterfly or bicep joint, double jointed elbows, wrist move side to side, forward and back. Both joints you get this much pivot, which isn't great. You get the forward and the back, and then of course the rotation at both joints. So yeah, the torso articulation needs much improvement in my opinion. Hopefully I'm able to do that. We'll see how that works out. But then you get the drop down hips, which allow you to move out this far. Kick up. It starts to kick up and out, but then you can kick back as well. Again, it kicks back, or it kicks outward. Get the double jointed knees. The ankles move down, up, side to side, ankle pivot, and the toe articulation. Alright. So yeah, alright. So you can see that the torso articulation isn't perfect, right? The legs kick out a little bit. Mafex does deserve some of the... they do deserve the criticism, some of the criticism that they get. I just think that it's unfair as people go harder on Mafex than they do on a lot of other companies. It just kind of bothers me sometimes. Because I think that they do their best to produce really, really good figures. And a lot of the figures are pretty nice. I mean, nothing's perfect. I've always, when I get a figure or get anything, I don't look at it as it should be perfect. Things happen, things break. You know, things, when figures are being put together, sometimes you get the wrong joint on the wrong part. It happens, you know. Mafex isn't the only company that does that. It's not the only company that it happens to, and I think that people should start giving Mafex a little bit more recognition because their figures are top of the line. Even though they're not perfect all of the time, they do their best to make excellent figures. So, you know, that's just how I see it. Anyway, guys, if you guys like if you guys like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stupid shit. And of course, until next time, true believers.